Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Manor Lords, and welcome back to Nedervand. At the end of the last episode, I asked you what you would like to see between now and the end of this series. The reason I did that, pretty simple. We've done about everything there is to do in this version of Manor Lords, and so this game is probably going to go off to a similar space that I have Software Inc. in. That is to say, this is a game we will come back to at least once per year to see how it's coming along, and this will be our 2025 installment of Manor Lords. Now, there were some great answers to my question. There were things like invade everywhere, take everything over, optimize this, that, and the other, and I'm gonna do some combination of those things. I'm not too sure how long that's going to take. I don't know if that's going to be a today kind of thing, or if that's going to be a next couple of episodes kind of thing. You're just going to have to stay tuned to find out if this is the last one or not. It probably won't be, spoiler, but we're going to do some things is what we're going to do. And so that brings us to Nedervijs. And the reason we're down here is because I want to take a moment to criticize myself, because I did it again. I did the thing that I keep saying I want to try and avoid doing, and that is I built a bunch of burgage plots on some really fertile land for, well, rye. And I did this because I wanted to put vegetable gardens in these burgage plots because we wanted to get more food in Nedervijs, and this was silly of me to do. In saying that, I'm not going to bulldoze these guys. I'm not going to get rid of them. What I'm going to do instead is come up this way, because we do have a little bit of, and I do mean a little bit, of rye fertility in this space. We also have a little bit just over here. So my thinking is relatively simple. I think we go ahead and we do a little road that sort of comes up this way, and we are just going to sort of follow the curvature of the boundary of this region. Now, to be clear, we can cross that line because we own both territories in here. I don't have to follow this line. I'm just doing this because it's going to act as the border for some new farms that we're going to put in here, which means we're going to need some new farmhouses in here as well. And you know, I think this might be a really good opportunity to build a new road that connects Nedervijs up to Sneuterberger, just because we can. So we'll have this guy go to about there, and that gives us that connection. We also have some roads going around this tiny little forest thing that we have going on, just because I think that looks kind of cool. And I'm going to estimate that our fertility is going to be about there. And I'm going to bring this down just a little bit further. We'll follow that one contour line and bring this thing over to about here as well. And that's going to be 2 fields. That's about all we're going to put into that space. As for over this way, my thinking is that we sort of go through this little opening in the woods. We'll come up to, maybe not there, but maybe up to this road. We can divide up this space a little bit into a couple of different size lots, I guess, parcels. I don't know what we would call these. Fields. It's probably the word I'm looking for. You know, the simpler word out of any word I could go for. We're dividing it up into different sized fields is what we're doing. So that's going to give us room for 4 fields over here. It's going to be 2 just down here. And I think what we'll also do is put a new farmhouse in this space right about here, which is going to be relatively central. Now, this farmhouse is not going to be restricted to just this field or just the other one over on the other side. I think the game's auto-saving, which is why everything is stopped. There we go. And the reason for that is because, well, we can't get a region that's big enough to do that. So this one farmhouse will deal with these fields. It will deal with these ones. It will also try to deal with these ones down here, which isn't ideal, but that's just sort of going to be the way of things. That's just sort of the way this is going to have to work. It's just the way that Manor Lords happens to do things. Now, I'm hoping that these fields are going to be enough to get us just a nice little boost to our food production in Nedervijs. I don't think we're in a really bad place with food production, to be completely honest. I think we're doing okay for the most part. I just want to make sure that we're doing okay. I just want to make sure that we don't run out. I want to make sure that this place is going to be good, because there's really 2 ways we can look at this. Way number 1 is we can move on from Nedervijs. We can go focus on other things. and just sort of let this die off and look at it like, oh, the series is over soon. Who cares? I care. Because here's the thing. Here's a little detail about something that I don't mention a lot, and something that I doesn't really make much of a difference. But anyway, whenever I finish a save for a series here on the channel in any game, there's a solid chance that I do keep playing it to an extent. It's not guaranteed. Like games like Software Inc., for example, I don't go back to the old save because I've done everything there is to do. And games like this, I will sort of keep playing a little bit just in my own time to just like tweak little things, detail little things, just like, you know, knock out these burgage plots and put more burgage plots in there. It's not really anything that would make an interesting video, but it's something that, like, if I've got an hour before I've got to go out and do something, or I've got 30 minutes before I'm going to bed, it's like, oh, I'll boot up Manor Lords and I'll play that one save. Like, I have saves for series that are years old at this point. I think Manor Lords, actually, I still have the save files from the original series that I did. I think for Software Inc., I have some of the save files going back years and years. If I boot up a game like Stonehearth, I have series save files, again, going back years and years. And that's something I've done from time to time. Even with City Skylines, I have some of the original City Skylines save files. I have all of my City Skylines 2 save files. I don't really go back to those, but games like this, yeah, I will keep dabbling with it. So that's kind of why I want Nerdivice to be okay. Now, the interesting thing with this place is we have all this construction still to do down here. We have 4 living spaces available, plus 13 that are going to be built. We have 5 unassigned families in here. So I think what we'll do is go ahead and get ourselves some ox, and we'll start kind of bringing more of these guys in just to make sure that construction gets done nice and quickly. And hopefully at some point we do manage to get all this construction done so that we can get these farms up and running, and so that Nerdivice does end up with a good amount of food. I would like to make sure though, and this is kind of what I was wondering, we have a lot of grain in here. We have a lot of flour in here. I'm wondering if we want more bakeries, because I don't remember where I put them, if I'm completely honest. They're right up here, and then we have a butcher shop next to it. I'm kind of thinking it might be an idea to get another bakery here and get another bakery here, so that we can get both of these guys working on all of that flour and turning it into bread. And then I'm thinking we could maybe get another windmill, just because that seems like a solid idea. We could put that windmill sort of out here. We could put it like down here. I don't know where it's going to be most efficient. In here, apparently, is super efficient. Over there is annoyingly, I mean, it's really far away, so I probably don't want to put it there. In here is 97, 98, 99. Can I get like 100 in here? Apparently not. Can I get 100 over here? I can get 99 over here. I think I'm okay with 99%. I'm going to be honest, although we are going to have trees growing in this space, so that's maybe a terrible idea. It doesn't really matter where I build it, does it? I mean, it does. What am I saying? It objectively does, but it doesn't really matter. Like, as long as I can get 100% efficiency, that's what I mean. It doesn't really matter where I put it, as long as the efficiency is 100%. So I'm going to build it out here, is what I'm going to do. There's like one spot right there where we get that 100% efficiency. We're going to build it there, which is a mile away from everything, but that's fine. We can make this work. It's right next to that one weird forest thing that we have there, next to the resident recluse that we have out here. This should be totally fine. I just like to do my little sort of circular road around this thing because I think it looks cool. That one, maybe not though. That one doesn't look great. That doesn't look great either. Can I get this to look? Yeah, I'll allow that. That's probably fine. We'll connect it like this, and yeah, that's fine. That's totally fine. We'll bring this road over as well, just to give it another connection right about there. And again, that should be fine. That'll get through a bunch of that grain just that little bit quicker, which is what we're going to be wanting for Nerdivice. Now, I mentioned earlier about optimizations for all of our regions here, and I want to focus on Nerdivice because one of the suggestions that I saw was going through and trying my best to sort out the beverage supply in Nodervand. If we look here, we do have some ale, but we don't have a lot. So my thinking is we can do two things. Thing number one is easy. Thing number two is a little bit of an investment, and that's okay. But thing number one is we come over to Snowderburger here. We look at our fertility. We realize that we have a bunch of barley fertility in here, and basically we put in a bunch of new barley farms. Now that is something I am absolutely willing to do. So once again, we're going through here. We're coming around. We're just building a little road that kind of loops down here and then just loops across and connects right about there. We can sort of split these guys up if we want to into sort of different sizes, which do we need to do? Or do I just do a bunch of farms like this? I think we just do a bunch of farms like that. I think we'll save on space just ever so slightly by doing a little something like this. And that is exactly 1 Morgan, which is fine. We can do a little something like this, which is 1.2 Morgan, which I guess is fine. And over this way, we have this weird little space, which I'm really hoping I can do something interesting with. It's not really looking like it wants to behave. There we go. That is going to be, what size am I looking at here? 0.9 Morgan. That's fine. So that is barley fertility, which is good. We have this space down here as well, which I'm thinking we want to go into and maybe bring a little road sort of across this way ever so slightly. We'll bring it kind of up to here. And again, that can be a bunch of fields. Is this space in here good for barley? It actually is. This entire space is good for barley. Well, not all of it, but quite a lot of it actually. So let's go off of this road. We'll kind of bring this up and around as well, which I think can kind of go to here. And then all of this is going to be barley as well. Essentially, we are going to be shipping a bunch of this barley from Snowderburger over to Nodervand in the hopes that we end up with a bunch of barley supply that we can turn into ale. That's essentially the idea. That right there is 1.4 Morgan. Very weird looking as far as fields go. Don't know that I love it. So let's just, instead of doing it this way, we'll start here. We'll actually start about here. We'll go up to that corner. We'll come down like this. And I think that there is going to be a bit better. This can now continue sort of down and around to that spot. And that's 1.5 Morgan. So again, quite a large field, but that's okay. We'll bring this over down to that corner and down to here, which is 1.7 Morgan. And this one is, I'm assuming, also going to be a pretty decent size. It is 1.3. Not really super worried about the size of those. It should be fine. These guys, similar stories, so 0.7 is okay. We'll bring this guy kind of down to here, bring it over to about there for 0.8, and we'll put our last field in this space, which is 0.9. All of that is going to be primarily for barley, but I'm relatively sure if we look at barley, it is 75, rye is 100. So I think what we do is rye to start with, and then barley. And I think, honestly, I might just do, I think these 3 are going to start with rye and go into barley, just because that seems fine by me. These 4 are going to start with barley and go into rye. And then these 3 over here can be fallow to begin with. They then go into rye and then into barley. We'll do the same with this one as well. So into rye and into barley. So that should give us a really huge supply of everything we could possibly want for both Snowderburger and for Nodervand. But again, this was sort of the easier option for what we're doing. I'm also thinking for this place, we might as well get a farmhouse. So we'll turn off Snap to Road, and I kind of have an idea for what I want to do with this thing. So the farmhouse is going to live right about there. And then I want to come up to this space, and I want to build some burgage plots is what I would like to do. Now, I think what we'll do is put a little road off of here, and we'll kind of just bring this around over to this spot. That seems fine. We can then go in, we can get some burgage plots and make sure they snap to the roads. We'll bring them to about this spot over to here, and here gives us 8 plots, which is perfect. So we're going to get those built, and my goal is to have those 8 families work in this farmhouse. Now, we do have 10 unassigned families right now, but we have to keep in mind that they are actually for these woodcutters lodges that I built. So there's one here and one over by the orchards, and they're also for the foresters huts. So we'll get this one up and going. We can make sure that this has a nice big work area on it just to fill up a little bit of that space. And I'm also going to say that this is going to be a bit of a priority, and that should be fine. The goal here is to, I suppose, get this farmhouse built, and then we want to build one of these burgage plots. When one of these burgage plots gets built, we then assign those 5 remaining families to go and work over in this forester's hut and this woodcutter's lodge, because what'll happen is that one burgage plot will have a family move in. That one family can then work on building the remaining 7 burgage plots. And then when all of the 8 burgage plots are built, we go ahead and max out the jobs in the farmhouse, which means that as these families move in, they go and work around the corner at the farmhouse. That's the goal. Whether or not that works out, well, we're going to find out together. But that is the goal for Snurderburger. So while all of that is going on, I want to come back to Nerdervice here because I'm keenly aware of the fact that a lot of these places are going to have full pantries all of the time because we're just going to have a lot of honey production and we don't have a nice spread of granaries in here. So I want to build a granary, and I'm thinking we're going to build one right in this corner here, if it's going to let me do it, which it does. And I'm going to build another one, and I'm sort of thinking we put it over by this farmhouse so that we have a really good spread of people that can go around and collect all the different foods from all of the different buildings. That way we'll hopefully minimize the number of complaints we have about full pantries, which we do get all the time, and it's really annoying. So that's the plan, at least. Whether or not that works out is to be determined. But again, this was all sort of the easy step in making things a bit more efficient. I have another step in mind, which I don't want to say it's complicated, but it feels a little cruel and unusual because it involves this place down here. Now, I have seen some comments talking about this place, and actually, my God, there is someone alive down here. I think that's just a trader passing through, actually. I don't think anyone's alive down here, which is actually what I want to talk about when it comes to this place, because some of the comments about, what we do between now and the end of the series were about this place. There were suggestions that we take it over and we try to rebuild it in the way that we did with Nerdervice. Now, I am not sure how that's going to work, given that everyone down here is dead, but we can certainly try. And a major part of the reason I want to try is, selfishly, barley fertility. Although it also has rye fertility, it also has flax fertility, it has wheat fertility. It is an insanely fertile chunk of land. So taking this place over just kind of makes a bit of sense. So what I'm going to do is, because we're probably not going to be fighting anybody, I'm going to grab both of these groups of soldiers, and I guess we deploy them up this way. And we're just going to gradually move them down there. And when we get them there, I will lay claim to that region using influence. And I guess we just... What are you guys just standing around for? This has me slightly concerned. No, they're figuring it out. They're taking their sweet time, but they're getting there. Basically, we're going to take it over. We're going to invade and see if we can do anything with it. I have no idea if we can, but I'm really curious to try. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very, very curious. Okay, so sending my soldiers down here at the height of winter might have been a little bit unfair, but to be fair, what's happened to this region all through this game hasn't exactly been fair either. So we're gonna claim this with influence, is what we're gonna do, which is essentially going to declare war on this region, which is fine. The war is right here, apparently. Enemies declared, Katharina and me. So we'll send my soldiers over here, and that should be fine. It should be relatively straightforward. Obviously, Katharina wants to make it worth my while to not do this. I am not interested in striking up a deal to not take this place over. Frankly, I am probably doing Katharina a favor because there's just a pile of rubble and ruins here. I don't think there is actually anything left other than an under construction burgage plot. Everything else has well and truly been destroyed, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about this. I don't know that this is going to work. We're going to, like everything else, we're going to find out together is what we're going to do. But it should be interesting. And obviously, I should mention, the goal here is to grow a bunch of barley and ship it to Nördrvand to turn it into ale. Or, if we can get production going down here, maybe we just make the ale locally and we send it to Nördrvand. That might actually be a really good idea, now that I think about it. If we look at Snöderberger here, how are we doing in terms of barley? We have a ton of it. It's the same with like wool into yarn. I kind of wonder if we should, man, I don't know. I don't know what we do. We have a bunch of roof tiles in Nördrvand. We could send more of them down here. I could set up more pack stations to move more yarn up to, oh, do I want to do it that way? What are we doing here? We have no one working here right now. We send barley, we receive tools. Let's try sending, or let's try receiving roof tiles, because that's something that we don't really need, but it's not the end of the world if Nördrvand runs out of them, because it's just sort of an optional thing. It is going to mean that we need another burgage plot. We need more people to work in that space. So let's just do a little something here is what I'm thinking we're going to do. We'll do a little path that goes across like this. And I'm going to do a little path that just goes into here. And then what we can do is build ourselves a little burgage plot just in this little weird corner that we have going on, which doesn't really work perfectly. Can I turn off Snap to Road and get this to work in a way that looks a little bit better? That looks better. And then if I turn snapping back on, we can go to this corner. That actually gives me 2 burgage plots, which was not at all what I was expecting, but sure. We can go for 2 burgage plots right there. And then my thought process was we bring this over up to there and across. And this again gives me a bunch of burgage plots, but I think we'll do it slightly differently so that these ones are a little bit more square. That's going to give us 5 burgage plots. We don't really need 5 burgage plots, but I don't think it's the end of the world if we get a few of them. Can I get this to work in a way that doesn't look terrible? Not enough goods. Interesting. So if I make these a bit smaller, we now have enough goods. I think I can work with that. And that'll just give us like a new little neighborhood in here is basically what we're going to call that. And then I can put these people to work in a pack station here, or I can put them to work in pack stations elsewhere. That does remind me that we might want to get our hands on a mule? I guess we get a mule. I don't know if we need a mule. I think we might have one already, but we'll get another one just to be safe. And yeah, we'll put someone to work in that pack station. We'll bring roof tiles down here. We'll send barley up to Nördrvand. And I guess we want to build more pack stations so that we can do the same with yarn, because we are doing the whole trading thing. But I think, as we've discussed before, we do have to pay for these trades. So sending yarn to Nördrvand for free, I don't know why I decided to go so high with that, but yeah, it might be a good idea. It might be the right thing to do. Okay, so Snöderberger now has 6 living spaces available because we've built this little place right here. We have built all of these places down here. We have 3 unassigned families. So what I'm going to do is go in and prioritize the plowing station on this farmhouse. And I'm thinking we're also going to, as soon as that is done, we're going to go ahead and start assigning everybody to work in here so that we can hopefully get everybody in these burgage plots working down here. That's sort of the idea. This is all getting built a little bit quicker than I would like, which isn't really ideal, but that should be fine. I think this game, I might be wrong. I haven't really ever paid attention to this, but I think it populates burgage plots in order of which plots got built first. So I think these 8 will get populated before these ones in here. At least that's what I'm hoping is going to be the case. So if we could... Wait, peace has been declared. Huh? What? What do you mean peace has been declared? Is that my territory? Oh, peace has been declared because I won. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that checks out. Okay. So how do I do anything in here? We have no food. We have we have a horse. I genuinely don't quite know what we do in here. Are these the supplies for this region? I guess they are. So we do have supplies. We just don't have anyone that can work here. Because they're all dead. Oh boy. Right. Is there a farming perk available? I don't remember for the life of me. Farming elevation. I think that was like the only one, right? The small holdings were fine. This was hunting. This was joiners. This was the regional wealth one. I'm just going to go for the regional wealth one because we're going to need all the help that we can get in here. I don't know if there is anything we can do here. To be completely honest, place it on the empty claimed territory in order to settle it. Must be placed on a non-settled region. Right. So the numbers at the top of the screen also haven't actually updated. If I say that I want to oh wait, no, hold on. There are 2 people living. Wait, no, that's living space. How do we get people in here? Monthly migration -3. Right. I don't know if we can actually do anything here. I don't think there's any way to transfer people from one region to another. I think we're just stuck with this. which is great. That's lovely. Yeah, no, I don't genuinely think there is anything I can do here. Can I unclaim a region? Is that an option? You control this region. If I could unclaim it, that would help because I could then put one of those little settlers tent things down. But as it stands, I don't think that's an option. So I don't actually know if there's anything I can do here. Unless there's something I'm missing. But from what I can tell, we have 4 living spaces, 0% approval. Public order is great. We actually have money. We have room for, oh no, it's goats and pigs. We have goats, pigs, and a horse. We have no people. And I don't think we're going to get any people in here. I don't really know what the solution is. We could build a logging camp. No, we don't have enough goods to do that because we don't have any tools. Wait, how do we fix that then? What does a pack station need? It needs, okay, so we can build trading posts. We can build a pack station. We could send tools down here, but we would still need people, which we don't have. Okay, I think this idea might have fallen flat on its face. I'm gonna have to Google this is what I'm gonna have to do. Okay, so all I'm seeing is if your Manor Lords region has no people, it's likely because you failed the region or lost all inhabitants in a conflict and now it's stuck in a state where you can't resettle it. To fix this, you might need to let AI take over and then reclaim it. I don't know if that's a thing. Or start a new game. If you're in a newly conquered region, you might have to use the settlers camp to start a new settlement there, which requires a treasury investment. We can't do that because the region has been settled. Basically, I don't think there's anything we can do here. I think we're stuck with a region that we can't do anything with. I mean, people go through here. These are traders going to other regions. I just think we're kind of screwed with this one, which, yeah, that is really unfortunate. We could come down here and just take this place over. I don't I don't know if we need to do that. We could take this one, which does have that stone deposit, but I mean, we have a stone deposit over here, which is a little bit closer to all of my existing territory. Well, technically it's right next to this one now, but I don't really know that I want to claim this as my territory because it's just a little bit embarrassing. This place though, I don't know how they're doing in here. It's really hard to tell. They don't have all that many vegetable gardens. They have, what are those, goats? They have goats, which is nice. They've got a little orchard. They've got what appears to be a bunch of apiaries. They've got more goats. I don't really see, I mean, there's some chickens. There's a few chickens. I don't know what this place is. Do they have a trading post down here? I don't even think they have a trading post. So I mean, they have a lot of stables. A lot of stables, actually, but this is a really weird region, too. That forager is probably not doing much because by the looks of it, oh, wow, they actually did. They did the thing that I almost did, and they've like cleared out the place that they were going to be foraging. I don't know if I want to take this place over either. I mean, everyone's alive in here, I guess. Maybe we just press a claim towards this region and get that over with. I can't believe. I mean, of course that one region is screwed, right? It makes sense. Like, it makes sense. I understand how that could happen. I'm just really disappointed that that has happened. That's really upsetting. I'll tell you what we will do though. Let's get this farmhouse up and going. Let's get people into these new granaries in Nordvice. Let's get this granary up and going as well. And you know, I'm slightly tempted to build another logging camp out here just solely so we can start grabbing some of the supplies that are around here and have somewhere to store it. So I'm going to build a logging camp right on this corner and we'll get people working in there at some point. Hopefully we can then go grab all of those supplies, which would mean that I can build another little farm in here, which is very much something I would like to do. Whether or not that happens, I don't know, but that is, I love this one just little circle of trees. It never gets old. I love looking at it. But yes, that's the goal with this new logging camp is to, you know, start putting all this stuff in storage. Man, I'm genuinely a little upset about this. You know what? I am going to invade this place. I hope it doesn't give me a mission accomplished game over for it, but we're going to find out if that is what it does. I have my doubts that I'm going to need everybody for this. I don't know if the rival lords actually fight back. I really have no idea. So we are, again, I've said this a few times today, but we are very much going to be figuring this out together. Okay, so my soldiers are down here. Let's claim with influence and see what happens. I genuinely don't know if there will be enemies to fight here. We're gonna end this conversation though. Where exactly do we have to go? Right into the middle of town. Okay. Well, we can do that. We will send all of you guys right down in here. The game is being very slow in the process of moving my soldiers around, but we can move them in here and this should start putting us, yep, we are now winning the fight, which is great. Sure. This, I feel a little bit bad because their people are now running around freaking out, but I mean, sure, whatever. As long as, I mean, it doesn't look like they're going to try and fight back, so I get this region as well, which is completely fine by me. This was part of the process of thinking that we might be getting close to being done with Manor Lords, because there doesn't seem to be any retaliation from the rivals, and I can just walk in here and take this over. We've reached the point where we threw together this region quite quickly. We can throw together regions super quickly now, so the challenge is unfortunately kind of gone. I think we've kind of reached the point where it's just same old, really. But that's fine. We'll take this place over. We took this place over. A little bit sad about that. A little bit sad about that one. This one will be fine, I think. It'll be fine. Okay, so it is the end, more or less, of the war for this territory. We'll call it a war. It's an occupation. It's a blockade, basically. is what we're doing. Either way, oh, what is this? Is this, have we won? Is that what this is telling me? I think we might, I don't know what any of this is. I'm assuming this is congratulations, you beat the scenario. I really hope there's a button that's like, keep playing. Because if it just throws me back to the main menu, hey, there we go. We can keep playing in sandbox mode. 12,277 days. That is how long that took. 1,641 population. No challenges won, none lost. Killed 392 enemies, lost 89 soldiers. 1,303 dead villagers. Interesting. Okay. I mean, that's very cool. I'm okay with that. We'll keep, peace has been declared, of course. We have this territory now. There's plenty we can do with this place. I do need to send my soldiers back home, admittedly. So we'll send them that way. The game is struggling with pathfinding right now, so that's okay. They'll figure out how they're getting there at some point. Do we have anyone that can work in here? We have 37 unassigned families here with no food and no fuel. Wait a minute. I've just realized it's just kind of hit me that, where was the logging camp in here? They do have one, right? I think. Do they have a logging camp in here? It's right here. It does have some timber, which is fine. Let's move this thing because there's so few trees in this region. Move the logging camp down here. That seems like it would make sense for the time being, just to have it in a spot like that. The forager we can just get rid of because we're not foraging anything here now. We are going to need a woodcutter's lodge, and I'm going to put it down with the logging camp as well because I think, once again, that probably makes the most sense. I think we'll do our usual, oh, I can't build roads down here because I have to save and reload. Okay. In which case, does this road continue this way? It does not. Okay, I know I could just save and reload, but I'm just curious to see what we can do here. The logging camp moving is fine. The woodcutter's lodge, the reason I wanted to build a road was to just put this thing perfectly like behind the logging camp. But for now, let's just get it moved down here because that's going to be a little bit more important. This well is fine. These burgage plots are a mess. Oh boy, there's a lot going on. This hunting camp is arguably going to need to move. I'm actually going to put it out here for now, which is at least a little bit closer to the animals so that we can hunt those. We've got more burgage plots. We obviously have the church. We have the storehouse. We have the soul pit, which I'll be honest, I don't know how much we're going to need planks right now, but the soul pit can go and live out here as well, just because it probably should. We are going to want a forester out here. We're probably going to want several at some point, but for now we'll just build the one and that'll be okay. In fact, you know what? I think, well, we'll probably redo the road layout in here a few times over, but we're going to want a lot of foresters to try and reforest this entire region because it's a bit of a mess. So, oh, they do have a trading post. Oh, they have 21,279 regional wealth. My God, what are you you're exporting planks. Okay, I dreaded that. That would explain where all the trees have gone, is what that would do. We will keep doing that, I guess. Actually, no, we won't. We have 21,000. We don't need to do that. What else are you exporting? There's got to be, you have not just been exporting planks this entire time. You've been exporting hides. That makes sense. You've got the goats and the pelts and stuff like that. Again, that is fine. You can continue to export those. Nothing in here, nothing in here, nothing in here. So hides, pelts, and planks has generated 21,279 regional wealth. That is insane. There is minimal food production in here right now. And the only food production that I can reasonably see is animals. We have how much timber? 13? Okay. We need some chunky burgage plots is what we need. I'm going to build them down here because this is a little bit out of the way. Yeah, no, I think that makes the most sense. We need some decently sized burgage plots. I can't snap to these roads in here because I need to save and reload. Okay, we can save and reload. That's fine. And there we go. We can start placing some burgage plots along this road. So we have 13 timber. It is 2 per plot, so we can do 6 burgage plots down here. I am fine with 6 burgage plots. I just need them to have a really, really sizable backyard on them. That is way more plots than I was expecting. Is this about 6 burgage plots? It absolutely is. Again, pretty sizable backyards, but that should be a really good yield of vegetables at some point, which is kind of the goal. I think since we have so much money though, let's go to this trading post and let's say that we want to start importing whatever we can import. So we're going to say a full trade on rye bread. I'm going to say that we want to have about 100 in here. I think that's probably fair enough. We kind of have the money to do that, I think. We're going to do a full trade on firewood, and we're going to say that we want to bring in, I have no idea how much we want of this. Let's say 200 firewood, just to be safe on that particular front. And I guess we'll also do a trade on, I don't know if we need anything else. I think we'll be okay. If we can afford to bring in some bread and some firewood, we can keep people alive long enough to start supplying it ourselves, which is kind of the goal. The 47 unassigned families is certainly going to help with this process. Although, how many animals do we have in here? Not as many as I would like, is the answer to that question. We do have room for 1 more, so let's get another ox in here. And I'm also going to look to, I think, move a lot of those guys. So let's actually go in and do a little bit of bulldozing, I think. So this road, I want to just get rid of completely. And we're going to just rebuild it sort of through the middle here up to about that spot. And then I want to bring it straight out. In fact, I want to bring it just straight out here is my thinking. This hunter's camp, I guess, is going to move over this way because I think it just makes a little bit more sense to have it much closer to the animals. So we'll put it about there. Should be fine. And then this road is going to continue out a little bit further, just to about there. Should be perfectly fine. And then I guess we can do our connection to the hunters thing here as well. So we'll bring this to about, oh, that's the tax increasing. I don't love that. It's 4.9k because we have all of this new land. Oh boy, if only I could do something with half of the new land that I've acquired. We'll do this though, which is totally fine. There's a method to my madness here. What I'm wanting to do is start moving these stables. So I'm going to put the stables out by the hunting camp. So we'll do one right here. We can continue to just sort of move all of them over there because look, I don't think we're going to tidy up this entire region right now, but I can at least do a little bit of work to make it look a little bit less rough than it does. That's kind of the idea at the very least. So we'll get another stable right about there. I kind of don't know how many stables we're dealing with here. I know that's a 4th one right there. I think it is only 4. I think we have 8 spots for animals in here. So yeah, we have 8 spots, which means we're going to need more. So let's go in and get ourselves a new hitching post right about there. When upgraded, that'll give us 10. This one will get us up to 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So we're going to have all of our stables out this way, and that is completely fine as far as I'm concerned. Now, we do have this road over here, and my thinking for this is if we can get a bunch more timber, which admittedly we can't right now. Is this built? No, this logging camp kind of needs to be a priority. I think it kind of needs to be a top priority, actually, to be completely honest. So hopefully that works out. I think we'll also go ahead and do some trades for tools. We're going to say import up to 10 just to make sure that we're good on that particular front so that everything can be maintained and built as needed. Oh, now this is a little bit frustrating. This is an error that has now popped up 3 times while I've been trying to build this new region, and I don't know why. I mean, I'm not running any other applications. Memories, I think we're just overdoing it with what Manor Lords is capable of doing. So here's what I'm thinking we're gonna do. I'm gonna turn auto-saving off for now and take a bit of a chance here, because as you can see, the 15-minute auto-saving that I have going on wasn't enough to stop me from losing everything that we just done in here. So I'm gonna take this as an opportunity to basically just put a road right about here, and that'll be fine. It's not what I wanted at all. Let's do that again because it looks a little bit terrible. We'll do a road right about here, and that'll be fine. This road is obviously going to have to get removed again because we want to bring this sort of through to this spot. We do need to, you know what, we'll just cancel and demolish the hunting camp because we don't really urgently need it in that space. We can just place it again, which is completely fine by me. So the hunting camp is going to live here with a forester directly across from it. And I think we're also just going to say, let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 of these guys. And then we have these other stables over here that we can grab and start to bring over into this space as well. So we're still going to be having all of our stables in that same spot. And then we'll bring a road sort of down this way. And I think we'll just bring it sort of straight through and use this as a road to connect a bunch of burgage plots to. Now, we do only have 11 timber, so that's going to be 5 burgage plots instead of the 6 that I was looking for. But honestly, I'm completely fine with that. They are still going to be huge, assuming that this is only going to be 5 of them, which it is. So we'll do something like this. Is what we're going to do. I should mention the reason I'm turning off autosaving is because I think that error is only happening when the game tries to autosave. I've also got everything paused for now so that I can just prioritize what I need to prioritize when it comes to construction. So getting these hitching posts or getting these stables up and going is going to be kind of important so that we can get as many animals in here as possible. And I also want to take a look while we're doing all this and just see what the fertility looks like again. We do have emmer, we do have rye. It is unfortunately in a space that I probably want to build in. So we have this space up here that we can use. Do I want to start putting farms in here? We could do that. We absolutely could. I think what I'll also do, because again, we lost it during the crash, is import up to 10 tools. We want to import up to, let's say 100 rye bread, I think it was. We want to import up to 250 firewood to make sure everyone is okay on that front. And I need to send my soldiers all the way back to here again so they can go back to Nedervond and do their thing. Now, let's have a look at that fertility again. It is largely just all of this space here. So from kind of the edge of those trees up to this line right here, down to kind of in line with this little smear on the landscape. Great word. So I think what we'll do is just start about here. It doesn't have to be like this perfect kind of layout, but we're just going to do a little something like this. We'll kind of bring this up and around now, and we're just going to go through these trees and just massively outline all of this space, because this is going to let us put some farms in here is what this is going to do. In fact, we'll bring this back just a little bit because I can't go that far with all those all the nodes that we had. We'll bring this around to there, and that should be fine. So that's going to be room for a whole bunch of farms, which is great news. Not entirely sure where I'm going to connect this to right now, but I guess it doesn't really matter too much. I think we'll just go off of about here and kind of bring this down to this road. Seems like a pretty good spot. So right to about there should be fine. We can obviously divide up all this space if we really want to, which I'm kind of thinking we probably really want to do. So we'll go through the middle with a little road like this. We can sort of go down from here a little bit like this as well. And we'll probably not have all the fields be this size. These are still some pretty massive chunks of land to work with. We will divide these up a little bit the way we did over in Snurderberger. But something like this should be okay. We can maybe plot out a bit of space in the middle for a farmhouse, although down here probably wouldn't hurt either. So actually, let's do exactly that. Oh, we don't have the materials. Okay. Well, that's fine. That'll still be a decent bit of space for a farmhouse. We just need the timber. And we can hopefully make this work, is what we can do. I'll let the game run a little bit. We'll see if we can get all this going. If I can get this logging camp up and going, that's kind of a huge thing. These guys leaving is a pretty big deal as well. And assuming everything doesn't crash and burn again, we should be fine. We should be able to do all of this. Having 55 unassigned families is pretty substantial. It should get everything built really, really quickly, which is what we're wanting to do. And there we go. We actually do have all of this coming together. So let's get a new ox in here. The hunting camp is coming together. I think that needs to be a high priority so that we can start a little bit of food production right in there. That'll be really nice to have. This thing over here is going to take its time because we do have to import the tools needed to build it, which is fine. Royal tax back up to 4.9k is not okay, but yeah, it's whatever. We're just going to have to deal with that as well. And there we go. So this is done. We can make sure that we are not going below 12 animals in the herd. There's only 16 though. So let's maybe go down to 8 just to see if we can get a little bit of meat in here that little bit quicker. I just want to see what we can do. I want to see if we can pull this off. I want to see if we can bring this place together. I'm kind of determined to do it. I'm kind of determined to make this work. I just really want to try. I really want to try and make this work. I want this place to be good. Let's get this woodcutter's lodge to be a nice high priority as well, because I think that's going to be really important. And I suppose now we kind of just wait. We kind of just need to, you know what? I'm gonna spend the money to establish some trade routes here so that these are a little bit quicker. I think that'll be, or a little bit more consistent is maybe the word to use here, just to make sure that we can continue to make some money off of those. I'm also thinking we'll do the same for hides and we'll do the same for pelts, because we do get pelts, I think, from the hunters, and we do get hides from the goats that we have around here. So I think we'll probably have a lot of goats, because I will probably go through and get rid of a bunch of these buildings. I will rebuild them and put goats in the yards of some of them, and we'll just see what happens. These guys still don't have the tools needed to build this place. We don't have them in storage right now either, which is fair enough. So I guess we kind of just wait. And there it is once again. That's a little disappointing. Just to be clear, I think the graphics card I'm running in the PC that's running Manor Lords right now is a 3080 Ti, a 3090 Ti. It's one or the other. It's not the 50 series. It's not a 40. It's enough to run Manor Lords. I think we might just be overloading it a little bit. What I'll do is I'm going to look into things. I'm going to look into it and see if this is something that maybe I just need to update some drivers. Maybe we can turn down the settings a little bit. I'm not really willing to lower the resolution, but I'll experiment and see what we can do. Unfortunately, what this means is that this might be our last episode of this series of Manor Lords. I don't know whether or not I can fix this. I will try. And what I will do is, if this is the final episode, I will let you know via the community page on this channel. I will let you know via social media and Discord. So there will be links to all of those things except the community page in the video description. So if you want to stay on top of things, check those out. And I will, oh, wow, that's interesting. Yeah, I will let you know what's going on with Manor Lords. If by any chance you happen to notice Town to City starting on the channel in a few days' time, then you can safely assume that Manor Lords is unfortunately not going to be continuing. So that's where we're at right now. We will see what happens. I will do my best to figure this out But yes, that's going to do us for today. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. This has been an absolute pleasure as always, and I might see you next time. I might not. We'll find out. Bye-bye.